Hey everyone, this is Don with Bay City Car Meet, and we're here for another Car Meet Garage. We got invited out to Tom's shop with his Kelmark, which is a pretty complete kit car, which is pretty odd to find. Thanks for having us, sir.
No, no problem.
So, we'll jump right into it and ask you, what was your very first car?
1955 Chevy. I paid $27 for.
Heck yeah.
I'd love to find another one from Arizona.
Right?
From Arizona, no less.
Also, no rust and beautiful, cleaned up.
Nope.
Yeah. So, what was your inspiration to get into the hobby and to start something like this?
My first Volkswagen Bug. I wanted to rebody that, but at the time, 18, I couldn't afford the kits. But yeah, after 40 years, I finally got around to doing it.
Yep, you know, something I think that's a lot of how a lot of this gets turned around too is, you know, when you get a little older and you start getting adult money, you're like, I seen that car when I was in high school and I want to do something like that. And that's how I ended up with my Camaro. And I think it's a similar story to Greg too, is we're familiar with those cars from when we were younger. Now we have adult money and being a little irresponsible, like, oh, let's go buy some cars. But it's a good choice, a beautiful color. I'm a partial to blue a little bit.
Oh yeah.
So
it's pretty much like a 69 Roadrunner blue.
it's a nice color. I was just going to say it looks almost like a Plymouth color.
Mm-hmm. It was a custom blend that the painter made up for it.
It's pretty cool. I enjoy it. It shines up really nice too. If you had to look back at your life and think of a good car memory, what one stands out the best, or even more than one? We're here for storytelling.
Best car memory. Probably surviving my Volkswagen crash. But all three of us in the car survived. But it's 70-mile-an-hour roll on the expressway.
That's pretty impressive in a Volkswagen. Those things are beer cans on four wheels.
Oh yeah, got thrown out of the car, and it ended up in Sheboygan Creek, half underwater, with two guys still in the car.
Oh, jeez.
None of us got hurt bad. I got a bruised rib, gash in the forehead, sliced across the leg when the windshield blew out. But that would have been, it wasn't a good memory at the time.
Right?
But
you survived, and now you're here. Now we're here with your beautiful car.
Yep. And a wife that hates it.
Well, you know, that's kind of like it's almost poetic, because that's almost the running joke in the car guy scene is, did you actually tell your wife the real amount of money you spent on the project? And I think secretly they mostly all hate our project.
There's what I actually spent and what she kept track of.
Right.
So the other two numbers are a little off by about this much.
First, you're placing the order at the Kelmark store, and you're like, do you want the receipt? Nope. Just send the part. So, do you have any automotive heroes? Automotive heroes?
I've had a few over the years. Back in high school, I was into drag racing. It was Garlett's.
Oh, I love Big Daddy. He's cool dude.
And it's Petty. Back when Petty, Pearson, Parsons, and all those were racing. And back when it was actually stock car racing.
Yeah, yup. When it was like cars and not just the chassis with a body.
Yeah, now it's same car racing.
Same car racing with just different body. Mm-hmm. You know, I did learn an interesting fact watching, because I sucked down the YouTube short or Facebook short stuff, is that, you know, they'll change a body for aerodynamics in a certain track, just like a Toyota body style handles different than a Chevrolet and the Mustang. And I guess the Mustang bodies handle better on a super speedway like Daytona than a Camaro or a Toyota. I didn't know that. I was watching a short and they were talking about all that stuff. And I could be 100% wrong, and it is the internet, so you can only take that with a grain of salt. But
that's why you have your super speedway cars, you got your short track cars, you got your road course cars, because you can't run the same car at all those tracks.
Right. So, and then there's a big difference between like ARCA and what's technically the between ARCA and like the big boy stuff. It's I'm terrible. I'm not a round your own guy.
Xfinity would be.
Yeah, the new Xfinity stuff. Yeah.
Well, it goes ARCA to the trucks to Xfinity, NASCAR.
So, is there any vehicles that you regret selling?
There's a few. My '68 Grand Sport, which now is worth six figures.
Yep, we were just talking about that off camera, actually. Yep.
A 59 Nash Metropolitan, because that was such an oddball. It was a fun little car, but I couldn't keep brakes in the damn thing. And I'd love to have another Volkswagen Beetle. I had the most fun in those cars.
Because this car, this one's on a Fiero chassis, not a Volkswagen chassis, right?
I got a heater that works.
So, how much of this car is Fiero and how much of it is the body kit? It's just the body, and then they just cut the body off it and drop the...
Oh, when I got it, the guy had taken a Sawzall to everything on this car.
Oof.
He just whacked the roof off, and it was busted glass, so he just took a hammer, busted the glass off, cut the roof off, set the body on it, and gave up. After he cut big chunks out of the body, the whole front end, with the headlights down, pretty much cut off with the Sawzall.
Well, I guess that's one way. It's not the right way to do it. It's one way to do it, I guess.
But, yeah, that's my first shot at fiberglass work, was redoing the whole bottom and front of the car.
Looks like you did a really good job. So what year Fiero is it based off of?
84.
In 84? Which motor was in that?
It's got the 2.5 Duke.
The 2.5, oh, the Iron Duke. Those things are, back in the day, you can throw a couple of turbos on those things, and they make all sorts of steam, and they just take it in stock form, the Iron Duke.
I'm not real sure if that's got the stock engine in it or not, because I know it's been out. I could tell all the loose bolts they left laying in there. The way this thing runs, I think it's got the 110 horse S10 Duke.
That's pretty impressive. They take a butt kicking, and if people that are watching, if you didn't know, the Fiero is actually one of the very first domestic mid-engine cars, because the motor's in the back, it's considered a mid-engine, and everybody's like, oh, the C8 Corvette, guess what? Fiero beat you to it.
Yep, and made out of leftover parts.
Yeah, made out of leftover parts. They call it a parts bin car, kind of like the Solstice in the Sky, where they were parts bin
Chevette
cars.
front end.
Yep.
Citation, driveline. There's something, Pontiac wanted to build it. GM said, well, we're not going to give you anything for it, so well, we'll take what we got.
All the best of the throwaway parts.
Yeah.
That's something nobody wants.
To save money on development, the Fiero would use pieces from GM's extensive parts catalog. The front suspension was borrowed from the Chevy Chevette, and the rear suspension was repurposed front suspension from the Pontiac Phoenix, mounted backward.
Beside look, this is one of the more unique cars that we've actually been and done an interview with somebody with. But outside of this, what is probably the most unique car you've seen, ridden in, driven?
Ooh. God, 60 some odd years. It's hard to remember.
I know, that's right. It's a good question to ask you because you got some years on us and a lot of memories.
As far as unique, it would probably be this one.
Oh, we can't count that one because we're sitting next to it. It's going to be on one of mine.
Because this is the only one I know of north of Detroit.
You know something? I bet you. We're going to go to an interview at some point this year, and someone's going to say that something like this, some kind of a kit car, not necessarily exactly this, but a kit car like this will be on their bucket list cars, because we have a very good habit of people will say what their like their dream car. And I'm about to ask you that too. We'll ask what your dream car is, like a car that you'd like to acquire or something you'd love to own. And someone will ask, and then we've either interviewed them or we'll walk into that garage, which is kind of cool. So we always say make it interesting because it's our luck right now.
Well, this one was, when I was 18, this was a dream car. Now I'd love to have another Volkswagen Beetle. Those cars are so much fun to drive.
Oh, 100%, they're fun.
I went through 15 cars between 16 and 17. And I finally got that Beetle. You couldn't kill that thing. Run the crap out of it, and it just keep right on going.
Because can't the motor come out of those things in like 6 bolts, and you can take the motor right out of the back of one of those things? Or 4, yeah.
That's how I ended up with the one I rolled. I pulled the engine out of that and stuck it in another one I got for $50.
Oh, that's
all of us bandaged and in slings with ropes pulling out of that thing, but we got it.
See, that's another fun automotive story. So we get them out of people. So if you had to choose between comfort, speed, and design, or we can do
at that age, 18 it was speed.
Yep.
And design would have come in second. Now it's comfort. once you hit your 70s, comfort is top.
Yeah, I'm 44 and I don't disagree with you that I have my race cars. My race cars do race car stuff, but I like my daily driver to be just a comfortable ride. I get it.
Oh yeah, heated seats.
Yeah, once you have them, you never want to go back without them. So, what is the vehicle you've put the most miles on?
Not counting work trucks, when I was driving truck, it'd probably be my pickup. Oh no, I take that back. It was my other pickup. I had a 66 half-ton. I stuck a 472 Cadillac in, and I drove that 15 years.
That's putting some miles on her.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it about killed me for gas mileage when I had the 411 gear in it. But I got a 308 Posse I put in that, and that actually got me to where I could get to work and back on 2 tanks of gas instead of 3.
I bet you it was a stoplight killer, though.
Oh, I towed a semi with it down Euclid.
Oh, well, that's getting some torque done, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was funny because the semi that delivered to us broke down, and I showed up with this rusted out, beat up 66 half ton, and I grabbed a chain, and the guy in the truck looked at me like I was nuts. I said, let me know if you drop air pressure, because I'm not pulling you with the brakes locked. We started going down Euclid. His eyes got as big as saucers. I was pulling this semi down Euclid with that truck.
Your trans temp gauge was probably saying, help me!
No, actually, it held up pretty good.
Dang, really? That's a lot of load.
Well,
That's pretty impressive, actually.
no, that 411 helped it.
Oh, well, yeah. Gotta love those torque multipliers.
Oh, yeah.
So if you had to point out one thing on this car, what's your favorite thing about this?
Probably,
Besides that it has heat.
that'd be like driving it, just like driving a go-kart on the highway.
I could see that, 100% I could see that. Because those Fieros do pretty good. They're not bad. I'd love to own one. It's on my bucket list of cars that I'd love to, I'd love to acquire one.
It's a little rough riding in the front, of the lowered front end on it, but that just go around corners pretty good. I never pushed it.
So how long have you owned it?
I was thinking about 50, oh God, I've had it 13 years now.
You know, time flies when you're having fun, that's for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it took the first year, I just had to undo everything that the guy I got it from had done. Every fuse in the system was blown because he didn't even know what electrical tape was. He just twisted copper wires together.
Yeah.
So it blew every fuse in the system. And then his weld jobs, I bumped my leg on one of the back brackets, just tapped it, it fell off.
Oh, jeez.
So it was just, spent the first year undoing everything, and then the next year getting all that back on, and then over the years getting the windows and everything going on it.
So is this all had to be a custom cut glass, or is this...
Ditto.
Oh, okay.
And 67 Chevy Bel Air rear windows. The only one that was custom was the back window, and after I got the headliner in it, I realized that the body had flexed out, so the window I had for it wouldn't fit, so now I got a Lexan window in the back.
Yeah, that's all right. Most race car guys go to polycarbonate windows and stuff. They work. They get the job done.
Well, I had a whole shop full of 1/8-inch Lexan, so they didn't miss a little bit.
Right. Hey, that's all right too.
That was just part of the scraps left over, and it was just the right size for my window.
So does the car have a nickname?
I never gave it one.
No? Hey, that's all right.
Probably
lots of
Wife's
time.
Nightmare would fit it.
Wife's Nightmare? Hey, that works too. That seems, like I said, that seems to go along with a lot of our projects, the Wife's Nightmare. Where'd this money go? I don't know.
I didn't tell her about it until after I bought it.
You know, like they say, sometimes it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. You already got it. What are you going to do?
Yeah, it's less painful that way, too. You only get beat twice.
Right. But hey, you still have it. She didn't make you sell it, so we're appreciative of that.
Oh, yeah, it's a fun little car. It was probably most fun was just scrounging around trying to find what parts I could use and what parts I could make work. And I wanted to keep the intermittent wipers from the Fiero, but this was set up for Volkswagen wipers. So I found 60 Buick LeSabre wiper pivots that were long enough to bring the wiper arms out. I just had to reclock the arm on my.
Oh,
wiper
nice.
motor. And then I built a transmission to go through there to run the wipers. So I got intermittent wipers now too.
Nice. This is what you call building the car.
Oh yeah. These mirrors, that's a funny story with these. I was looking for mirrors that door mounted because everybody's going out of the quarter
Right.
class. And it's going nuts with Camaro and Firebirds were expensive as hell. My daughter had a 98 Buick that had been sitting in the drive. She'd been driving for years. Walked past it one time, bumped my leg on it. Went, damn, that's what I'm looking for. Picked
Hey,
up
that
a
works
set of
out.
power windows for $25.
You know, and those, they fit the car, the body line. They look really nice on there.
Yeah, that's a lot of the people in the Kelmark Club are switching to those now too. They love them.
That's pretty good.
It was one of those oddball things. It just,
So if you had to guess, how many of these things are out there?
well, there's 2 in Michigan I know of, and I don't know how many of the bodies they built, but the club, it's about 100 or so at most.
That's pretty good. When I originally walked in the garage and I looked at the back, I originally thought it was a Pantera, and I was like, oh, cool, I love these things. I seen the mid-engine, then I walked to the front, I was like, that's not a Pantera. And that's where Tom was like, it's a Kelmark. And I'm like, oh, I guess I've never really heard of it, but it's super cool. It's got good body lines.
Back in, it was when they first built Fort Saginaw Mall, they had a Pantera in there when it was still brand new yet, when they first
Right.
got hold on. I saw one in there, and it was all right, but I wasn't all that thrilled with it.
Right. Not every car tickles everybody's fancy.
No.
So it was definitely not on my list of stuff I was going to see today. That's for sure. Because we weren't sure. We were like, we got an interview out in Bay City. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I was like, what's he got? And Greg's like, well. I was like, well, now we do, and I'm not disappointed. Not even a little bit.
Yeah, just so it was an oddball that somebody had tried to put it on a Fiero frame because the Fiero was wider than
Yeah.
the Volkswagen, so I ran into a few problems with that. But I was originally going to put a supercharged 3800 in there, but first time I drove that with that Duke, I said, no, it's more than enough for this car.
I was going to say, isn't it super common in the Fieros to do the Cadillac Northstar V8 swap in these things because they're a front wheel transaxle? Because technically now you could do the LS4, right? That's the front wheel drive out of the GXP and stuff. That's a front. It's got a transaxle of the LS.
Well, they made kits to put anything from a 3800 to a small block into the Fieros, but
the Iron Duke, it's getting the job done, man. And they can take mods. It's fun for sure.
First got it running, the clutch pedal was bent, so I mean it would engage when just a quarter of an inch off the floor. And that little Duke was leaving black marks all over the driveway, and wife was having a fit about that, but 'cause it was more, it would spin the tires.
Right, any more stuff from the 80s and 90s? It's old car stuff. It's old 80s and 90s junk is what we call it. And I enjoy all my sports car stuff is all 90s junk. Greg has 60s junk. Well, I guess I shouldn't say 60s junk. I'll probably get punched for that one from somebody else. You said 60s junk.
That and the engine bay on this thing is small enough to where I really wouldn't want to put anything bigger in there because never be able to get at it.
Get pretty interesting. And I mean, this is it's a true story of most of the kit cars you'll run into out there, and you've gone a long way and fixed a lot of the stuff that they did. But most people who are doing kit cars, they don't take the time to do it right. They're just like, let's just start hacking and slashing and bolt it together, and oh look, here's some paint, and like most of those.
Good story to that. There was an $80 Grant steering wheel that he'd put in this thing.
Yeah.
Rather than pop the extra $20 to get the adapter, he had cut the spokes off the old steering wheel and tried to weld it to the back of this one.
Oh, wow, that's neat.
It fell off.
Not while you were driving, or?
No, I was
gonna say.
working on it and I bumped it and the steering wheel fell off. That's when I realized what he had done. Holy crap. I mean, there's serial numbers stamped in the back of that wheel that he had welded over. You can still see the serial numbers.
And that's like a true story. Like I said, that's like a true story of like the kit car stuff.
Yep.
You see it a lot, like even in the Lamborghini and Ferrari kit cars out there that are built on the chassis and stuff. That you start really poking around them, a lot of them aren't that nice. They look cool. I can appreciate that that's what they wanted, and every different butt for every seat and whatever. But yeah, take a little pride in your work, and obviously you taking the pride in fixing this all up, and I appreciate it. It's cool.
Yeah, like the cup holder I built there that covers the bad spot on the vinyl.
Hey, it's the small touches that fit around you, and that's all that matters. So as long as you enjoy driving it.
Oh yeah, well, me and my oldest daughter are the only two that can drive a stick shift, so.
Hey, that's all right. It's what do they call that? The modern era anti-theft device.
Well, I used to drive 10 speed and 13 speed, so 4 is nothing.
Hey, that's all right. Because does this have the Fiero 4-speed in it?
Yeah.
Okay. So it'll do all right. It's actually a little less common to find that stick shift in the Fiero than it was the automatic, because most people, I guess, that got these got the automatics. If I remember right, I've been a Fiero fan for a while.
Oh.
I know just enough about them to get me into trouble, because I wanted one, but it's always hard to find a good one.
That's where I ran into
back.
trouble, this being an 84. The 84 with a stick shift had its own axles. They don't fit anything else.
Oh, jeez.
And I had to replace this one axle, and it took me 3 times to get the right one. And went to AutoZone, ordered one from AutoZone. They sent one for an automatic, different splines. So I took it back to AutoZone. They called over to O'Reilly's to find the right one. So I go to O'Reilly's now to get stuff.
Well, you got to go where you got to go to get the stuff you need,
Yep.
you know? So, is there any shops that have helped you along the way, parts distributors? Because this is an oddball car. There's got to be someone out there you got to call. Like, I need this part. Or do you make everything yourself pretty much?
Just between AutoZone and where I was working, I had the equipment to be able to make stuff that I needed for it.
Right, and this is one of those cars that I wasn't quite sure on that question about, well, this isn't just something you're calling up Summit and being like, I have this car, I need a door handle for this. Mm-hmm. Who would you call if you broke a door handle on this, by the way?
I don't even know if you can get those Triumph door handles anymore.
Oh, those are Triumph door handles?
Yep.
That's pretty cool. That's a pretty neat, like, you look around, I was like, those look kind of familiar, and the mirrors are out. That's pretty cool, man. I can appreciate this thing wholeheartedly.
I had to make the trunk hinges, and I found what they call the window box hinge for the engine lid that worked great. And up here for this section, I got 928 Porsche hinges.
That's hot rodding. Whether your hot rodding goes beyond going fast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hot rodding is when you got to make a part that isn't quite in existence anymore. That's hot rodding.
Oh yeah. Well, I got good at that when I built my truck.
Well,
66 with a 68 Cadillac engine transmission, a 67 housing with a 70 Monte Carlo gear cluster in it, wired with a Corvair wiring harness.
That's definitely hot
Back
rod.
in '82, you could say I probably built the first rat rod.
That's pretty cool.
I did it out of necessity. It was what I could afford.
Right? Isn't that how that trend kind of started anyway? Is that people just wanted to start hot rodding, and they just started using the stuff they had laying around, and next thing you know, it's a whole trend.
But the truck I originally bought at an auction for $80, and I drove that for a couple months, and the engine was going south fast, a little 6-banger. I was looking for a small block, and they wanted $200-300 for a good running small block. Ran into a guy who had a 68 Cadillac sitting out in the field, only had 60,000 miles on it, got that for $100. I'll make it fit. Big shoehorn. And
Sometimes you gotta do
that
it.
15 years.
Heck yeah, apparently you did it right if it went 15 years, you know?
It did it did throw a lifter on me once, and we had a 4100 Cadillac sitting at work. I found out those are the same lifters.
Allegedly.
Well, the guy asked the boss,
Right.
it was boss's
Yeah.
Cadillac.
Oh, okay.
I asked him about it before I took him out.
You might want to include that at the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh, he was at work stealing parts. So do you have any social medias that people can follow this on?
Just my Facebook site from the dogs, but so as far as this is done, so there's really nothing to follow along on.
taking it to shows and people like looking at cool stuff like this and short content. You'd be shocked, man.
I did take it down the show once last year. But Saturdays are bad because my wife's got to have the driveway from 4:30 to 6 o'clock, and then I got 3 vehicles to go in the driveway.
Oh, jeez.
So I got to do a lot of shuffling around to get it out.
Sacrifices must be made to get this thing out there, man.
Oh, yeah.
But sir, I want to thank you for having us in the garage. And like I said, I was not expecting to see this in here, and it's cool.
But like I said, as far as I know, it's only 2 of them in Michigan, and the other one's down in Detroit.
I mean, I get around, and I haven't seen one. So I can appreciate
They were
that.
made in Okemos, Michigan. So I got a Pontiac under an Okemos, Michigan body.
That's even cooler. Like I said, I appreciate, yeah. It's art, man, because it's different.
That's what I like about it. It's unique.
Yeah, you're not going to see one. Someone wants something different that you're not going to see. You don't get any different. You don't
build
get any
it.
better than this. Yeah, you got to build it just like this. But sir, thanks for having us.
Not a problem.
Hey, make sure you like, share, and follow us. On to the next one.